Hey there, so today we're going to be going over the sit command. So the sit command, it's a very important command because this is going to give you an alternative behavior to give your dog, especially if they're acting up, maybe you have visitors at home, your dog doesn't quite know how to act around them. They're going to be full of excitement, and they're not going to know how to manage that. And so the sit behavior is going to give them an alternative behavior on how to manage that excitement. So for instance, whenever you have someone come over, your dog is overly excited, you can always ask him for a sit, and then as they stay in the sit command, you can always have your visitors approach your dog and give them what they want, which is going to be the attention, whether they just want to be pet, or if they're looking for a treat, or maybe even whenever you're ready to go out for a walk, whenever you're putting on their collar or their leash. They know that they're about to go out for a fun walk, and so they don't know how to manage that excitement. So by you giving them an alternative behavior, and then as long as they stay in that sit position, and they allow you to put the collar on them, they allow you to put the leash on them, with repetition, they'll know to stay in whichever desired position that you want them to be in. But definitely the sit position is one of the main steps to get to that point of having a well-behaved dog. And so the way that we start off with is, we're going to start with the lure now. I'm going to start again without giving the verbal cue, just so that way we can get them into the habit of learning the behavior. And then once we do a few sets, then we'll start adding in the verbal cue, just to kind of pair the two. And so the way that we'll do it is, we're going to leave it at nose level, and then we'll leave it there, and then we'll push back just above over their head. Tico. And then just give them some time to just think. Yes, good boy, Tico, good boy. And then as soon as his butt touches the ground, that's when you want to mark it. That way they kind of learn. Tico, break. And you don't necessarily have to put them in a heel. Yes. Focus. Yes, good boy. So you want to make sure that they're engaging with you, so you want to make sure that they look at you as they're sitting as well. Tico, break. Yes, good boy. Focus. Yes, good boy, Tico. So now we're going to start pairing in the verbal cue, which is going to be the sit command. And then what we'll do is we'll say it right before they sit down, but we're also going to give them some time to think about it. So just make sure that you don't repeat the same word over and over again if they don't do it right away. So give them some time, to think it through, so that way they can make that decision for themselves. Tico. Sit. Yes, Tico. Good boy, Tico. Good boy. Eventually that their focus will end up being like an autofocus. So like kind of right now I'm kind of like make like a hand signal to have them look at me. But eventually it'll turn into an autofocus. So break. Tico. Sit. Yes, good boy, Tico. Good boy. Break. And so again, we're going to do the same thing with trying to fade out the treat, and then also the lure as well. So right now I'm just going to rub some of the treats with my fingers. That way I can get the scent. That way they're not dependent on the treat. Tico. Sit. Yes, good boy, Tico. Good sit, Tico. And then once you do a few reps of that, where they're consistently, successfully sitting, sit. Yes, good boy, Tico. Good sit. Then we'll start fading out the lure as well. Tico. Sit. Yes, good boy, Tico. Good sit. Good sit. So just remember to give them some time to think it through, and then reward as they do. Tico. Sit. Yes, good boy, Tico. Good sit. Break. So yeah, so just make sure that whenever you get to that point where you're just giving them the verbal cue, don't be afraid to go back to the previous step if you're having trouble with them doing it without the lure. And then again, with just being consistent. Also, something that you can do is hand feeding. So, like first thing in the morning, if you give them like kibble, instead of you just giving them, filling their bowl up and giving them their food, make them work for their breakfast. That's also another great way for you to build that bond and relationship with them is to, help them stimulate, their mind mentally, and so using the hand feeding as an opportunity to train your dog just for a few minutes a day, that'll definitely help you sharpen those basic behaviors to the point where they'll become automatic as soon as you give them the verbal cue. I hope you found this information helpful, and then we'll see you on the next one.